when I was growing up.
Yeah. So, Trey's in the house.
Cheers, my boy. Thank you.
No, thank you, buddy.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you. So, I usually start off these wee podcasts by just briefing the audience, because I forget about the audience. I forget about the audience, and I just go down some rabbit hole. So yeah, me and Trey had to go down a rabbit hole after I hit play.
Perfect. Do you want me to move this up as right it is?
No, all that's grand. It's not in the way. Yeah, so the background, had I know this absolute stud of a man. It's basically whenever Tommy done the white collar.
The white collar boxing, yeah, from that.
Yeah, and she kept coming home every night and talking about this man. And I said, see if I have to go down there, I'll have a word with you, Trey. But no,
I was just a coach.
I was like, Trey, enough. No, she always spoke highly of you, and I knew how much work you kind of put into her, and that showed in her performance that night.
I've got to give props. So that's the reason why I've been nicknamed Tammy TKO.
No way.
Yeah, that's her nickname. She took me cool because her tenacity.
Yeah.
She got, I mean, a story and stuff, but she had tenacity and the willingness to do it and to step in the ring with me as well. You know?
Yeah.
She was
your
a
spars
pleasure.
brought her on.
Yeah, she was a pleasure. I mean, you got to break through that barrier with boxing, isn't it? Is that first initial shock of being hit? Yeah, it's always a shock. You know yourself doing jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Exactly.
So once you pass that initial shock and nature of it,
you realise it ain't that bad.
It's there. You know what I mean?
But even Tammy's wee backstory there, to leading her up to doing that was she went into hospital, the gallstones out. Yeah. And the doctor doing the surgery, or the surgeon doing the surgery, nicked her liver, sewed her back up, sent her back up to the ward as if everything was good, as he believed. And we nearly lost her, she nearly died. Well, I tell you what, to survive that and to go on and to do... that afterwards. To step into the ring and do that, I thought, wow. The horrific thing about it was, she was on the ward, screaming that there was something wrong. Oh man. But so obviously their poisons were bleeding inside and she was stitched up, and she's in the recovery kind of ward, and everyone's looking at her as if she's fucking just a big princess and a time waster. And literally the reality was time was ticking, she was dying. And then it was just so extreme. Her mum says, I don't care how much it costs, but you need a surgeon to get here now and look at my daughter. There's something not right, like. And they took her back down, opened her up, and she was fucking, the surgeon doing the surgery had sliced her liver, and she was, all those toxins were just getting into your body. Yeah. Whew. So, she's here with us now, so God bless her. Absolutely. But that's how I know this big, what did I say earlier, the best looking man at the barbecue. Oh, stop it. This guy.
Literally blessed.
So, but no, it's an absolute pleasure.
It's good to be here, man.
To have you on the show, because there's people that you think will come on, there's people you think won't come on. I never seen this coming, and that's why it's so exciting. Well,
I follow you guys online, to be truthful.
Yeah.
Not like when the bit of crack we may have, maybe pop a wee joke or wee innuendo and stuff, and I love all that. You know what I mean? A bit of personality.
This is just that.
Amplified. You just expanded on that. Yeah.
So that's you all sorted. I have a few questions for Trey, because we are going we're going to go right behind the curtain.
Dish the dirt.
We're going to dish the dirt.
Strip the layers back.
We're going to strip the layers back. In the true spirit of the show, we're going to go behind the beer and the banter.
Aye. Yeah. Here we go.
Corby?
Yes. Hometown. So starting from there.
Well,
let me go a little bit further back then, okay? So, Corby's my hometown, but I was born in London.
Okay.
Yeah, so my mother was very young at the time, not legal age, should I just say. Right, so I was raised by my grandparents because, obviously, in the 60s, that sort of thing, having that sort of underage pregnancy and being Afro-Caribbean, it doesn't actually.
It wasn't.
It wasn't. It wasn't another thing. It's probably better being Catholic, but. But so my grandparents, when they came over. They were one of the first 800 to come over on a Windrush.
Wow.
And they worked within the institutions that we were brought in to support. So my nana became a matron within the National Health. And my grandfather was an engineer, chief engineer in the London transport system.
Wow.
So they made the money, made the fortune. We've got a big family, I think it's about 13 kids, 3 boys and...
and
3 boys and 10 girls.
Oh really?
Yeah, crazy.
Jeez.
But I grew up with the majority of them, within the house.
Were you the baby or were you the bigger?
I was the baby of the bunch by that time, yeah. I was the baby of the bunch by that time. So I had all this love and family all around me.
Yeah.
And I can remember from about the age of 4, those strong memories from being in Battersea where we lived. So in 1976, my grandparents decided they're going to repatriate back to Jamaica.
Yep.
So they took the whole family, including me, back
good.
there. Yeah. So they had a huge property in Jamaica, a huge 8-bedroom bungalow with farmland. So we grew our own farm produce on land. Grew pigs, grew chickens, grew goats, grew weed.
You gotta pay them bills.
You gotta pay them bills, man. You got that cheddar. Nah, I'm only kidding. But no, they were very sustainable. But they were a very religious family as well. So they always felt about giving back to the community.
Very good.
So I was actually schooled in Jamaica.
Oh really?
From the age of 6 to about the age of 10.
So all primary school kind of?
Right through primary school. And then my mother had married and had my baby sister.
Yes.
And made the decision that she wanted us to come back over to England.
Okay.
That was a bit of a shock for my system, in terms of because coming back to England, I don't remember seeing so many white faces. It was like walking through the airport, like shit. Is it snowing?
Yeah.
But no.
Am I staying here?
What? But as I said, I do remember from the age of 6. I do remember some memories of being in Battersea. So it wasn't so much of a shock, but it was still a shock per se.
Absolutely.
So we didn't move. We didn't stay immediately back in London. My mum had made her decision to move from the rat race of London. She wanted to give us a different upbringing outside of the regular. She wanted us to be multicultural, blend in with other people, get to sample and share our culture as long as it's taking other cultures. So best place to do it, Corby. Wow. Corby town being the Ulster Scots town, about 85 miles outside of London, North London.
Yep.
That town was made up in the 30s, 40s, around about the war time. Oh. British Steel was the producer of British Steel, basically.
Very good.
Major
that was the workers and stuff kind of idea.
That's right. So what we did was actually migrated workers from all 4 nations, from Scotland. So Scotland would have been like Aberdeen and Glasgow, Wales, obviously Cardiff and that area, Northern Ireland, Belfast, North Belfast staff. All converged, all those communities converged within Corby and set up their own communities. Yeah. Which was amazing. But when I set the same communities, everybody shared everything. So we got to see all the parades on both sides, nationalist or Republican, even though I was like 10, 11 years old. I didn't know what the fuck they were. But you've seen that. You've seen it. We had the Mayfair, the Highland Gathering.
No way.
Seriously, we had all this, and Mum made sure that we went to all of them.
Very good. I love that. That's great parenting.
Yeah, well, something, it's in her interest that is make us to be seen, because she wants to be seen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Seen as being a human being and working and looking after her family, married, bought a house on an estate, whatever this, that, you know what I mean?
Just being an asset to the community.
Absolutely. And bearing in mind at the time, though, we were only one of 12 ethnic families in the whole of Corby.
One of 12?
One of 12 ethnic families, so it didn't take long for everybody to get to know us, put it that way.
One of 12? What was the population then?
So just over 5,000. Yeah, but like I said, British Steel was the main employer. They had rail works and everything.
It's amazing, it's amazing how, see if you were to get caught in the trap of like small small thinking.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, the opposite of it is, you know, blue sky thinking. You know, like who thinks, right, we're going to do steel, we're going to create a town. You know, is that the only difference that separates people? Some people are, you know, closed-minded, small-minded, and some people just have these imaginations. You know, like for me, it's kind of like crazy that a town was just created to house, obviously a massive, you know, global company. But like, there is no limits.
No, absolutely not.
There is no limits.
But even after British Steel collapsed in the early 80s, it started to be broken off and sold into different pieces. Like, and sold to international conglomerates like Tata, boy, that bullshit. You know, big companies, foreign investors.
Northern Ireland knows a lot about that.
Yeah, we had, they turned Corby into an enterprise zone, which for private enterprises, the biggest employer came in, and probably the biggest impact on my life was Irish Components.
Okay.
So after I finished school, I went to school in Kingswood.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Kingswood Comprehensive School, by the way. And one of Mr. Tyler is still
rock and rolling.
Still rock and rolling. Legend he was. So you know, Irish Components came in and took up the mantle as main employer of the business. So even though all the companies set up and stuff, so it was a really good booming time going on there. And you could literally walk through the door at Irish Components and say, "I need a job." And there we go. And that's literally what happened to me.
Yeah. No, I remember people sharing stories when Belfast used to be like that. You know what I mean? So I think like the 80s, subject to their music alone, must have been a great time to be alive. Like, you know, obviously I was born in the 80s, but I was one. But
I can go on better than that.
Oh, talk about it.
Because you know, I was born. Even though I was born in the 60s. I was there right at the start of the mod revival in 1977.
That's what I'm saying.
Never forget that.
That's what I'm saying. See that those eras and the spirit of those times, they do shape people.
Yeah.
And just out of curiosity, you know, you're one of the friendliest guys I know. Do you think were you shaped by the spirit of the time, like, you know?
Yes, definitely.
You know what I mean?
I think Mark, you know, I wouldn't be who I was if I didn't grow up in Corby in a mixed cultural area.
In that era. Because
even though, I mean, it was challenging in itself.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? You know that. Let's not, you know, we don't pretend, but it was challenging. But it was a massive.
There was a bigger vibe going on.
Yeah. But there's different points in my life where I can actually say, like, these are major stark change points. Like the like I said, you said the 80s.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But my change point would have been about 1977, 1979. When the ska movement started, two-tone movement, so that's literally when Quadrophenia the movie came out. That blew everybody's mind. That started a complete cultural revolution.
I love it. So
that film is culturally significant to generation. You know,
but why I asked that is obviously I'm in a lot of homes cleaning carpet and upholstery. And COVID, and we're not even talking about COVID at all. This is just an example. People got pets in COVID, right? Some had babies in COVID, and the dogs are not right because they didn't see humans for a while. So I'm going into the home and all the apologies start, and I'm like, it's fine, you know, I love wee dogs, and it's because of the spirit of the time. You know, COVID. Social distancing, you weren't allowed to see friends and family, etc. And it had effect on people. Got
massive. I think we underestimate the significance of the impact.
And,
you know, some people, like I can say, with a level of privilege, I was grateful when the lockdown happened. For me personally, it was came at a really good time, a very bad time in my life in terms of where I thought my career was going. I felt like I was on a downward spiral in that aspect, but my wife, who was my absolute rock star, had my back. And I literally spent most of my time in lockdown, just took myself away from the work environment. I enjoyed the peace of the streets. I mean, I know it's really hard for a lot of people, but my surroundings afforded me that opportunity. I couldn't say that if I was living in a one-bedroom apartment or a bed set.
I know.
But being trapped in that sort of environment, I wouldn't even be able to comprehend it. But for me, it was major.
Without going down a COVID rabbit hole, that was just an example of how the spirit of the time can affect who we are as people. And I was just curious, because you do have one of the most welcoming, warmest, genuinest personalities, like,
shucks, man.
and you can pin that right back. I know, but
it's
a fair observation over the years of knowing and stuff, and but a lot of people aren't like that, unfortunately. And
you know what, you want to know what I think it is?
What?
Right, and it's probably because I'm approaching 59 in 4 months. Yeah,
59.
I don't feel it. I don't look it. I don't feel it.
Nope.
I don't act it. Whatever that's supposed to be. I'm just me.
Yeah.
And I'm fortunate we are fortunate in the generation that we're in to have seen so much significant change, and we've had to roll with those changes.
Yep.
Technologically, we had to roll with it.
Oh,
Information access had to roll with it. Cultural change had to roll with it. Diversity changes we had to roll with it. It's not new. No. None of this is new. This has been going on for centuries.
I know.
We just pretend. We just act like it's new.
We think it's new.
It's kind of it's impacting us.
Yeah, and it's kind of like whenever you're born,
Yeah.
you think your mum and dad were born at the same time as you.
We'll get
You
this,
think
right?
that's the world in life. You forget about all this time.
Little curveball for you, right?
Yeah.
When I'm sure we'll come onto a subject soon.
Yeah, but we're not going to get Corby yet.
But why are you talking about that? A lot of people in our hometown who don't know the history of Northern Ireland said to me, or don't fully understand the history of the four nations, said to me, "You're moving to Northern Ireland, but don't they do the bombing out there?" I kid you not.
I know.
Right? This is 2007.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how are you for fucking real? Where have you guys been?
I know.
Do you know what I mean?
But the media has a lot to answer for. I'll give you a perfect example. A mate of mine, a very, very, very good friend of mine, Craig. He's from England, but he was over here at Queen's University, and and then we done a lot of partying together. And then he qualified as a teacher, and he went back home, became a teacher and stuff. A couple of years passed, and I was taking my wee nephew up to Belfast.
Yeah.
I can't remember what we were doing. We were doing something that you do with your wee nephew at that age. And he phones me. And he goes, "What do you mean you're going to Belfast?" He says, "Well, I've got wee Jay. We're taking him. I think we're something on the Titanic or something." He's like, "Is it not going mad over there?" I was like, "No." I took a video of the sun splitting the trees.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Well, my nephew, can't really ask for much more today." We were sitting having a bit of lunch. And he says, "See what they're showing on the news over here." And
shocking.
That's what they do, man.
It's shocking.
And we do have our problems, but it ain't as bad as they like to share it around.
No, put it this way, right? I think, we sometimes get caught up in a vacuum. We can lock ourselves in a wee vacuum, because when you get fed so much information about one particular situation or a particular country, let's say America and current situation for example, you literally forget there's 172 plus other countries out there, different cultures and stuff.
With potentially bigger problems?
With potentially major problems.
Putting the spotlight on them.
No, exactly. Now, I'm not saying that we need to be looking at and don't pay attention to what's going on in the current sphere if it affects you directly.
Yes.
Yeah. But don't be fucking outraged for it just for the sake of it. You know what I mean? Because unless it impacts you directly, it ain't your fucking business. Excuse me for it, that's your guys' fucking problem.
I know. Right?
It's your guys' fault for getting me doing that. But no, what I was gonna say was we've got enough problems to worry about just trying to survive day to day.
Life's hard.
Yeah.
Nobody needs any more bullshit.
So why do you want to top that up with pretend problems? That's not really your fucking doorstep. That's not your doorstep.
An issue.
Yeah.
Just for
exactly. We've had to do, and you think this is new? As I said, none of this is new.
It goes right back.
What it is that what's shameful is how gullible we are to continue to think that, this is happening to us for the first time. We've never had this situation before.
I know, and then again, as you touched on, your age, you become wise to it.
Yes,
you become wise to it, and unfortunately, what is it to say? Youth is wasted on the young. Like, we should be. We've got our own problems, and you shouldn't. It's almost like. See, when I hit 20, I was like, life begins at 20, and it was like 30, life begins at 30, and I'm fucking 49, and I'm saying, life begins at 40, I'm like, when does life start?
Yeah.
I'm just sorting out shit, and then there's more shit.
Tell you what, right? if you still got this in 20 years' time, right, when you hit my age, for about 30 years' time, right, so I'm also enough to be a fucking dad, man. That's just wrong.
That's wrong.
That's fucking wrong, Gareth.
What the fuck is your secret? Right? What's your secret?
I guarantee you, no, you know what it is? The penny suddenly drops at one point in your life. Yeah. And when I do a lot of reminiscing. I love thinking back about what my life and what I've done, what I've achieved. As I said, we're not even scratching the surface of what
I know. What have you got Corby yet?
You know what I mean? I haven't got Corby yet, but I've done so much. But I've loved my life, and I've owned my mistakes.
Absolutely.
You know, because like I said, you can't go through life pretending you can't fail. You have to fail.
Yes.
Even at the thing that really breaks your heart the most.
Yeah.
You know, if it happens, it's what you got to think about is what do you learn from it?
What's your takeaway?
What's your takeaway from that?
Yeah.
So I live with no regrets. You know.
Yeah, I'm sure you've had some, but you don't dwell on it. You learn from them.
You learn from it. It's painful in some cases. Sometimes it can be quite costly.
But it takes bravery and a certain, you know, people that have never been wrong.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've had friends or family or. You know, and I've had so many arguments with people they've never been wrong. And because I'm from the same school from you, you have to feel forward.
Yeah.
It's okay to make mistakes.
Absolutely.
How are you meant to learn if you don't have a go? You know, there's, like back in the day we didn't have the vocabulary that we have now, like the haters. You know, that wasn't a word. Someone coined that and it made sense. You know, there's always going to, you could do 100%. Success rate anything, and the hater will still pluck something out of it. So you might as well have a go and learn something from it.
Yeah.
But if I take nothing away from this conversation today, and the audience as well, it's if somebody's watching this and they're young, it's okay to feel forward.
You've got,
it's such
important. I think sorry to cut you off there, but I can't emphasize enough, and I know this from my personal experience. Yeah. I have 4 beautiful daughters.
Yes.
And 2 of them have given me 2 amazing grandsons.
Wow.
And the biggest adjustment I've had to make is stepping away from that parenting type role and stepping back and having the courage to step back and watch them and let them make their own mistakes. Just be there to support them and help them navigate that same way I did. You know what I mean?
If you keep buttoning in and being a safety net, not to get morbid about it, but you're not going to be there.
No,
forever.
Exactly.
So let them make the mistakes while you're there, not jumping in and saving.
And it's having the courage to know that you don't know everything as a parent. Having the courage to acknowledge you don't know everything. You're always going to be learning something new.
Yeah, because there's like decades have passed. Yeah. So I argued all the time with my mum and dad. Wish I didn't. But I think we're all guilty of it, and but when you think about it, my mum and dad, grew up through the Troubles, like smack bang in the middle of it. Yeah. And my dad would have been in the RUC, in the police, in the Troubles, in Tennant Street in Belfast. So parents are overprotective anyway. Yeah. But imagine having that parental kind of protection trait reinforced with the fact that there is trouble out there, and then you get this child thinks he knows it all arguing with you like fuck off. Do you know what I mean? What's new, innit? So it really is hard to just step back and let them make the mistakes. That was a rabbit hole we went down there, didn't we? Did that was a tangent. We went clean off the record. But we did warn us that we knew that we were going to do this. I knew we were going to do it. We knew we were going to do it. So we haven't even got back to primary school. We haven't got to primary school yet. Okay, so schooling in Corby, Yes. My first school was Danesome Junior School. Right? So at the age of just over the age 10, started in Danesome Junior School. That was a bit of a culture shock. Yeah. As well, because of the ethnicity in the classroom, being the only black kid in there. Yeah. But however, if I told you now that I can tell you literally the whole of the classroom, but who I'm still the best of friends with to this day. Yeah. And we're planning to catch up again soon. So I've got to say shouts to Mike, Lucas, Leakey. Yes. As I said to my girl Paula, Karen, Sharky.
Tony,
No
Roger
way.
Williams. There's so many. We still keep in close contact.
And that's a testament to all of us, because there was no social media back then. There was no mobile phones back then.
Absolutely.
Could you have got a landline at a push?
The only way you can actually go, you had to jump on your bike and drive and ride 4 miles up to go see your best mate. You'd be lucky that if you even had a phone in the house.
I know, and if he wasn't in,
you had to run back.
Is Marty in? He's not in? No, been there, been there.
But so Daysome School. So done Daysome School in there, and then moved into Kingswood Comprehensive School.
Yes.
Okay.
So we had your favourite teacher. You give the shout out.
Yes, one of my favourite teachers, but also Mrs. Strong, Mrs. Hamilton, and Mr. Cooper, who was my science teacher. Those were absolute legends in there. They held my hand through everything. Yeah. In terms of watching my back and helping me progress and that. There's other teachers there as well. But what was great about Kingswood is by the time the 3rd year hit, everything just kicked into gear for me in terms of really enjoying my schooling. I made a great group of friends. Yep. The mod movement was in. There was kids who were coming out with scooters.
No way.
Thinking, what the fuck are they able to ride a flipping 50 special to school and stuff? But there was a big cultural shift going on there. And
for the better?
For the better, because we had ska. So we had groups like Madness, Specials. Yeah. I mean, so the two-tone movement, we had, groups like Madness. You've heard of Madness, heard of Specials, Bad Manners,
UB40?
UB40 was around that same sort of era as well. They weren't ska, but they were in that sort of genre. They were mixed in there as well. And I was very fortunate to go and see a lot of these bands live.
No way. And then they became famous.
In fact, just a couple of years ago, Specials played one of the last gigs here in Bangor City on the seafront. And I was there.
Oh really?
Yeah.
And we're all the Vespas and all that?
Well, not the Vespas weren't there, but all the pork pie hats were there though. I just showed you the picture.
Because there is a tour that happens right here. Yeah. Every now and again you see about 100 Vespas flying.
Oh, we're going to go to the scooter bits now already, are we? Are we going to jump that? Are we going to jump that far ahead?
Let's go.
Let's jump that far ahead.
Let's
get into the meeting stuff. Right. So, from school, that's my first impact with mods and scooters and stuff, and that's when the passion for the mod movement, sort of the scooter sort of thing came in for me. But I didn't actually pick it up properly until 2002. By this time,
2002?
By this time I was married, settled. Oh yeah, because the sequel in my mind, I've always had. When you go somewhere and you see like the scooter was like a magnet to me. It didn't matter what shape, what condition it was. If it was a Vespa. I don't care if it's a 50, 125, PX, P200, didn't care,
Yeah.
That was it for me. That was it for me. Lambrettas I wasn't so bad about. Lambrettas a bit slimline, more slimline, but low more low ride, but I've ridden all of them. And I'll tell you the story about the scooter. So when it came to the scooter thing, so I didn't actually get my first scooter till 2002. Right, so I was married and had my first daughter as well. Yep. But I was also working as a production manager, and I won't touch so much on the careers. But production manager that gave me the ability to be able to buy a house, buy a scooter, have those sort of things. So I picked up my first scooter, which is a PX125, no T5, black T5 Vespa. Was my very first one.
Nice.
Absolutely loved it, and I took that scooter loads of places. But the thing about the scooter scene is that to get the best out of it, you should join a club.
Yes.
So I joined the Stillman Scooter Club. I was one of the first affiliates to the Stillman Scooter Club, run by Paul Church, Alan Spooner, Mark George Harrison. We called him the Godfather, like he's that fucking old. He still has a mod haircut, it's all silver, imagine that. But they were the guys who, and to this day, they're my brothers, the same group of us.
Where's the school at? Where's the club at?
That's in Corby. That's back in Corby still.
Gotcha.
But since moving over here, obviously, taking that a little bit forward, when I brought my scooter and my Lambretta over with me, when I obviously met my now wife, I joined the Moving Targets, or started up the Moving Targets. Which is the Bangor club here.
Nice.
But Northern Ireland already had a big scootering scene, underground scene going on, right? So you had that solid bond out of Belfast. You had the Coastal Boys from Tiger Bay.
Yes.
We had the Ards Boys here, All or Nothing.
No way.
Seriously.
Wow.
And we'd all converge for rallies. So back in the early 2001, I'll send you the video clip of one of the weekenders we used to do at the Bangor front in the Marina Hotel.
Yep.
We took that over for the whole weekend.
Yeah.
Have live bands on, massive scooter ride outs. Like the first one had over 600 of us riding through Bangor. It's an absolute amazing scene.
I have seen it. I have seen it, but I just didn't know behind the curtain. The culture, the clubs, the people.
Yeah.
I've just been going about my own everyday life, and I've been like, whoa, what's going on here?
It's one of those hidden things, and so it's, it's basically, it was just the guys basically reliving the 80s sort of days, sort of thing, or still staying true to themselves, to the culture and stuff.
That nostalgia.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I fought it for a little while, and I found myself embedded in that, but I was more of I wasn't more of a mod, I was more of a soul boy. Right? So the mods were more like the Beatles, sort of 60s sort of music, whereas I was more of the black music, which is more Northern Soul, Motown, sort of blue note, jazz music, that sort of thing.
But ultimately, it was all fueled by music.
Yeah, all fueled by music,
the
the love of scooters, love of us, dressing up and posing.
Fashion and posing,
yeah,
just sharp on your But so it's Vespa different. What do you have, Mara?
Yeah, so I now because I'm getting so old now, man. And I've gone away from the two-stroke scooters now, and I've gone new genre. I've gone into still a Vespa. I've got a GTV 300, which is based on the GTV scooter. The only thing different is the headlight doesn't sit in the front of the handlebars; it sits down on the mudguard.
Got it.
And it's a 300. 85 mile an hour, automatic, boom, away you go.
And that's a Vespa?
Yeah.
You've got the Vespa?
Yeah. Well, I've made some modifications to it. I've got some other modifications.
Of course you have.
Yeah, of course. But, the thing was about that's good. My wife bought that for my 50th birthday.
Nice.
So big shout to
what was
Shara
the
that
one? Yeah, big shout out.
Yeah.
What was the one you drove on your wedding day?
That was my Lambretta. Yeah, that's right. Yes.
From Bangor Castle.
That was from Bangor. Yeah, so I rode it from my house to Bangor Castle on our wedding day, through Bangor. Oh my God, that's one of the best days of my life. Yeah. Man. Just thinking about that,
that's amazing.
It's such a beautiful day and stuff.
Yeah, and that's in stone forever.
Yeah.
Do you ever just head down to town
absolutely.
and you forget about it, and then you look up and you see the Bangor Castle.
You know what I had to do though. I sold that Lambretta 2 years ago. Right, but so first of all, I sold to a really, really good friend, Glenn Thomas. Right, and he kept it in his house. Glenn Thomas, another scooter boy, a real like a brother to me as well. He's got scooters in his house. He used to buy them and park them in his bloody living room. So when you go to his house, he's got scooters parked. So seriously, parked in his room, just like his toys. But I wanted my scooter was racing tuned at the time. Which was built by Gary Williams from sort of Paul White. Not Gary Williams, Paul White from the Lambretta Club of Great Britain built that scooter. Didn't build it for me specifically, but he tuned it for me, before I brought it over here. So that scooter, the first one I had, it was a 105 mile an hour scooter. No way. So I down tuned it to 70, 75 now, at the time when I left it. Because I had it all kitted and everything. These things,
I didn't know they could go.
Yeah.
Because they just look stylish.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, they look slick, cool. They don't look like they could do 105 miles an hour.
Well, not all of them can, trust me.
Yeah.
Obviously, technology, there's scooters out there that can actually do that, obviously, From
my little knowledge of the Vespas, there's very little protection. If
you're hitting something at 105, right? This is what drives me mad, right? Out of all the 10 scooters I've owned in my life, right, including customized Lambrettas, right, that looks like chopper scooters, that looks like choppers. Yeah. So you got the extended front forks. I used to sit like that on the scooter. Now I had two. I had a yellow one, but my red one that I bought, didn't buy it over with me, but there's a store that one. I bought that from a parts fair for 150 quid. Sold it on a month later for 800 quid. As a kit, yeah. Wow. So anyway, so of all the scooters I've actually owned, right, the one before I sold my Lambretta, I had a PX, silver PX, which was sold to a great guy. He's still got it now, and his friends were still very close friends as well, online sort of thing. I only fell off that scooter 3 times.
Yeah.
I have fallen off this fucking black automatic fucking thing about 10 times. Last June, right? Yeah. I almost got flipped over. This woman pulled out on me at a junction, so it's a T-junction. I'm riding along the road, on the coastline, up by Mile. Yeah. I'm not long to do. She pulls right out in front of me. I'm flipping on the main street where there's nothing around like.
Wow.
And I literally had to drop the scooter. But when I dropped the scooter, I was still going at speed. I literally bounced off the door, almost went to the top of it.
Stop that.
But yeah, luckily.
Have you had any bad injuries?
No. I've had the most embarrassing one though. And Paul checked to remember this one. My bro, back in Corby, we went to a scooter rally in Hemsby, and we were riding at night through heavy rain and stuff, fully rated and stuff. So by the time 7 o'clock, pitch black where we're going, and we stopped in this lay-by to wait for the boys to catch up with us, right? Because 6 of us were riding, the 10 rode ahead, 6 of us waiting to catch up. I was about to pull off, looking behind me, just making sure the didn't notice that there was a lump in the curb. Clipped the curb, went flying over the top. Flying over
in the rain, you're soaked.
In the rain. Oh my God, man! I was knackered for that whole weekend.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, I managed to get a roller scooter home and back, there and back. Only damage the slap on the side panel, but looking on the engine side.
Your feelings were hurt. That was about it.
But no, I mean, obviously, I passed my motor's test at my motorbike test about 9 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm now riding looking for bigger scooters. But I just love the classic look. But
Yeah.
I'm not in the scooter scene per se. I'm still loyal to the scooters and everything. You know, still going ride out. But the one thing.
It's one of those. It's like every January when you're kind of setting new goals and stuff. It's like I have to get my motorbike license. I have to get my motorbike license. It definitely is on the bucket list. But there's just there's some more to do before I get around to it.
But the time is, you've got to think to yourself though, while you're working up to getting it, you're missing out on the action already.
I know.
You're missing out on the immediate fun. And I think that's where, when my thing about scooters, it took me over 20 odd years before I even got my first scooter, But when I got it, everything just clicked, felt right, riding on a two-stroke, and just followed it through how different scooters, ride around the whole country to go into different scooter rallies, meeting with different peoples and different tribes and shit. You know what I mean? No, seriously. One of the best scooter rallies, in fact, our first one, the Stuman went, 16 of us, we wore matching, like a club jacket or a club shirt or something. Yeah. We had these blue bowling shirts, right? Navy blue bowling shirts with our name printed on in gold, Stuman Corby, and your tag name on the side there. Right. Now, I love my boys to bits, right? But sometimes I want to flip and kill them, right? Because they have mine printed, right? And instead of having Trey on it, they put BGT on it, right? And it stands for Big Gay Trey, right? Because I was just so getting fed up of us getting all the attention. I thought, thanks, man. We had to. And that tag stuck with me everywhere I went.
Yeah. Oh, it's stuck then.
Well, it's stuck with them, lot. I don't know if we can let it go. But no, they're my boys. They're my brothers. I love them. So,
So we've done
Corby.
A
little bit of school.
Yeah.
Scootering.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about? Music?
So, is that in the middle? Is that in the middle?
Well, it depends. Depends. I mean, it may be a branch off sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think we should probably say a bit about my work-wise, because I know that you've been an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact you're going to be successful because what you've done so far is absolutely incredible, guys.
Yeah,
so
thank you.
Health to continue to enjoy, my man. But my career, I've been, as I said, at this stage, I've been very, very fortunate.
Yeah.
And I've had ups and downs, sure, but the vast majority of my life has been.
Yeah. Well, my favourite story is what was it? You were working in Copenhagen.
Yeah.
You're like the fucking drinking what? In work? Part of me still doesn't believe you.
No, it's true, right? So the company I was working for said that RS Components at the time. By this time, I was into that 7 years plus into my tenure at RS Components. I'd done different career moves in there as well. So I just had moved around within there, mainly within export, and that working as an export coordinator afforded me the opportunity to go and travel the world. So I was working in Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Lebanon and that. In the Middle East, Malaysia, and most of Europe. But when I came to do a stint in Denmark, I was there for 3 years. Yeah, so I was one of the IT team, but I was there to help develop a logistics technology system, basically a computer-based system, operating system, and train it out to the relevant staff. Yeah, so I was there to support that. And at the same time, my role was to make sure we feed back into what change we want to make to the program, to where it looks. Long story short, right? So we've been working there long nights, long days, long shifts, yeah. But this company had a tradition, right? We had 2 sites, right? And in the coffee shop, in the canteen, we had this ginormous double-doored fridge full of bottles of Carling and Tuborg beer, right? So the rule was, you know, if you're working past 4:30, past 5 o'clock, you can have a beer before you go home, right? No worries, right?
I love it.
If you have another, you know, if you start at 5:30, you can have another beer, right? So basically, you can have a beer every half hour up to 7 o'clock.
Sounds like a drinking game.
And then you double up. Then you go to do a seriously
No
2
way.
beers, right? So there's many times.
You're minding me up.
I swear on my life, man. I swear on my daughter. I swear on my son's life, man. It's the truth. There was times that we were sitting there, we were flipping getting razzled, and we're trying to write programs with Chelsea. And just the table was just full of bottles of beer. But no, it was a success. It was one of the highlights of my life working in Copenhagen. I was so blessed to be there.
That's just their culture.
Yeah, oh, they're just amazing people.
And it just goes to show you, like,
amazing people.
People that make decisions for countries, for companies, you know, they can make them decisions. Do you know what I mean? It's always like, people say to me, "Oh, it's crazy times. We're living in crazy times." And I was like, "It's not crazy.
It's not crazy at all."
People are making decisions for your mortgage to double. You know, it's not crazy. Like, my mortgage is 20 quid this month. Isn't it crazy? It's always crazy at our expense. Do you know what I mean? You know, so that's what that says to me. The company that you're working for, you know, a key decision maker made that decision to have that culture to you know, motivate, you know, the workers.
Absolutely.
So our wee country, you know, like the cost of living crisis, that was all by design, right?
Listen, right, the one thing, at the age of 59, I must have been through four plus decades at least. I know of how the political system actually works, how economics work and shit. How to move your money, how to make a living for yourself. Right. The priority for us as human beings right now is to make the best of what we have with the little time that we have on this earth. So your priority is you. Now, whatever your path is, fair play to you. Good luck to you. You know, follow it. But don't look for somebody else to blame when your shit goes fucking wrong, right? Look, Gareth, right? And I've been saying this with honesty because I own it. I've probably had 2 mental breakdowns in my entire life.
Wow.
One pure because of where my mindset was with my children, you know, because I didn't think I felt I was failing them, you know, and that takes, you know, as I was seeing them literally every month, you know, flying over to see them, bring them over here. We were very close, still are. But as a father, that really broke me. The second one was, the one that really had a massive impact was back in 2018 when I walked away from a big job in a security firm. I thought, fuck it, I've had enough. I couldn't deal with it, and I went home just for start lockdown. Thought that was it.
Done.
Right? And I thought, at that point, I looked at my life and I thought, you know, looking back, has it been really that bad? No, it hasn't. It's just at that moment in time, I was like caught. That cloud just. And it can creep upon you at any given time. That's the worst thing about it.
If you hang around me long enough, you'll hear me say that I'm just too tired. I'm just too tired. But that's kind of my mask for my issues. Do you know what I mean? And again, it has to be normalised. And when it's kind of normalised, and you hear people like you and people like me sharing it, it's like, well, are my problems that bad? You know. I feel that we're now becoming more comfortable. It's not so much of a stigmatism to talk about mental health. Of course.
You know, because we're now normalising the fact that it is something that happens. It's trauma based, right? It doesn't have to be physical, mental based. You know, this attitude of stiff upper lip ain't gonna cut it anymore.
No,
right?
because it's taken from your quality of life.
Absolutely. But what concerns me more than anything else is that, you know, well, what's good within the current working environment is that companies actually recognise that. The company I work for recognises that, you know, we have programs that tell you what is it to be a neurodivergent, you know, what is it to have ADHD, what does it mean to a workplace, and how do you adapt to that? You know, diversity, equity and inclusion is so critical to everything. It's not new, but you're expanding on and giving people great opportunities. Because if you don't do that, man, you're leaving somebody behind to rot, and who's going to look after them? You know what I mean? If that person who's the wheelchair bound is not allowed to work in a workplace because all of a sudden we're not wheelchair accessible, who picks up the slack?
I know.
The thing I love about Northern Ireland compared to anywhere else except for Denmark is that we are socially aware as a people.
Yeah.
I think we're more socially engaged as a people.
I remember once upon a time there was no mobile phones.
Yeah.
There was no internet. And see, whenever you had a problem, you had a problem because all those stigmas, there was nobody to share it with.
No,
you know,
absolutely.
this stiff upper lip shit, and then there was nowhere to go. And I don't know what it was within me, but once upon a time, I sneaked off to the library.
Yeah.
And I started, looking for books to kind of help. I don't know where that came from, but maybe it was out of desperation, or maybe it was just I knew, I had to figure shit out here, and there's fucking nowhere to go.
Yeah.
You couldn't even know there was no charities. Even if there was no.
Right.
They weren't publicised in the paper. People didn't talk about it. There was no internet. So I did. I went to the library and got books out of it, and I had to lie to friends and family where I was going. I'm just going down to the library to get books out in psychology because my fucking head's in the bin. It just wasn't a thing. But that's why. That's one of my motivations for this wee podcast. Yeah. That I hope that if somebody is like a young man and they can't put a word on it, but they just know they're not, something isn't right. Hopefully they'll come across a podcast like this and they'll hear us talking about our anxieties, insecurities, fears, doubts. And they'll go, well, it ain't so bad. People are chatting about it because I didn't have nowhere to go. I had to find these things in books. And that is my kind of secret wee kind of motivation to having just good guys on to share their experience, and someone at home who hasn't got a good peer group, hasn't got a good family, hasn't got fuck all, can maybe watch this show and go, that makes sense to me. I like that quote, I like that link to whatever, I like the idea of maybe going to a library, because we have to give hope,
absolutely, man.
Because there's
totally
plenty taking hope away.
There's some people just feel that they've been forced into submission in terms of what they can and
there's so many outs. Life's tough enough.
Oh, absolutely.
You do not need all these extra engineered fucking forces driving you into submission.
But it's having the courage to be able to say, unfortunately, we're living in the age of technology, information, and misinformation, which is it's nothing new, because the only thing different is that you can go and check the source. If you took the time to go and check the source and be properly informed, rather than follow a narrative that best suits your
agenda,
best suits your agenda. I mean, the one thing I never want to have in my entire life is my life based on a lie.
Of course.
And my feeling, that you've got to be true to yourself, and my life is not going to be based on standing tall over somebody else. Because they need to be on their knees to make me feel superior. I'm more in the tune of, I want to bring people along the journey with me.
Well, I love the quote, and I kind of based my life on it, and it comes with its own disadvantages. But I hate people that have to cut off your head to make them look taller. And never ever look down on someone unless you're helping them up.
Absolutely.
So I read these things, once upon a time, and they made so much sense to me. But without going off on a negative tangent, when you are the guy that wants to help, unfortunately it doesn't attract the people that need the help.
No.
It attracts the fuckers that want to wrench you.
The help I give is selective and random.
Well,
I'll always have my friends back, my family back. My family here is my family, my daughters, my grandsons, my immediate attention. This part of life and stuff. And if my friend needs me and pick up the phone. For example, one of my friend groups, is my boys from kickboxing. Now, I haven't talked about kickboxing
no,
so much.
I haven't even talked about the music or anything.
Exactly.
The music, the martial arts. That's why I fucking had them on.
My boys, my brothers, like we've got a WhatsApp group.
Yes.
And we train together. We've been through the mud back in the day, through the hardcore and stuff. We competed together around the country and internationally as well.
Yeah.
So they're my boys and stuff. But we, even though I haven't been there for like 20 years, some of them I've not seen for near on 20 years now since I've been here. We still keep in close contact. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and many of them got their own schools now.
Some have got their own schools, got their own business, got their own families, but we all know each other so much of the time. The only different factor is that I coach every single one of them.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean?
I love that.
And
that's rewarding too.
Yeah, it is. They've seen them
continued
develop
and
absolutely
potentially surpassed.
Yeah.
So will we get into the martial arts?
You want to get into the martial arts?
Let's get into the martial arts.
So martial arts time, right? Okay.
So where was the what would you call it? What inspired you then?
Yeah.
Or did it just more of a hobby? How did you get into that lane?
I wanted something to basically train my mind mentally and basically censor me, sort of thing. I knew I was missing something, some sort of form.
What age were you then?
I was about 16 years old. So this time I moved to Bristol by this time because I was such a troublesome kid. My mum and I, we fought like tooth and nail. God love her and stuff. But she don't know how she fought me, but she did. Moved to Bristol just to try and get some headspace and try and figure out what the hell I wanted to do. Yep. I was living with my uncle at the time, and there was a school called Laogao, Chinese kickboxing, which is Tiger Fest. Chinese kickboxing is basically, if I can put it in the simplest term, if you think about Taekwondo with a little bit of a blend in terms of the kicking techniques and a little bit of karate in terms of the punching techniques, you might have even though most martial arts are like that, but it's more for sports, more like with more freestyle sort of fighting. More the use of combination of punches and kicks in a set movement rather than just a simple jab reverse. Sort of jab reverse, hook punch, reverse kick, turn kick, whatever, spinning kick. So combinations we're working with. So I found there was a school when I moved back to Corby and settled back in Corby in the 90s by then. I found this school which is being developed by Alex Barman.
You get anything off?
Yeah, I'm fine, man. You're the cold one here, you know what I mean? I ain't got time to be cold. Mine's not hot. So Alex Barman,
we learning in there, huh?
he's the founder of BCK, British Chinese Kickboxing. So he broke away from Laogao Kung Fu. Yeah. We broke off with him. I broke off with him as well. And done all my senior gradings through Alex.
Yes.
Just fast forward a little bit. I mean, I wanted to continue to expand his training and take it over here. Yeah. I started Northern Ireland Chinese Kickboxing School when I first moved here in 2007. Ran for us a couple of years, but unfortunately it didn't last because it's loss of interest. People lose interest very quickly. MMA is like the quick fix. Go to wham bam. Everybody wants to be a fighter within 6 days, sort of thing. So learning a discipline, learn a language, discipline, a culture,
lifestyle,
and form a lifestyle, and endorsing that. Yeah. So I was to be honest, I was as successful as I could be.
Yeah, within the
in kickboxing. Yeah, in Chinese Kung Fu. So I've done third degree grading in kickboxing. Yeah. I've done my second degree in Chinese kickboxing or Chinese Kung Fu. Chinese Kung Fu also involved weapons as well, so I specialise with the sword and the staff. Wow. Yeah. When I say specialist, I used to love swinging around.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Couple of bits now, but there's some videos on. I know there's some videos on YouTube.
Your Instagram's gonna blow up.
I'm gonna dig them out. But I was very fortunate. I think I competed over 30 championships. I know I've got 16 championships. Yeah. At the time.
And what one was the most rewarding?
Oh my gosh, the most rewarding one. Oh, that question. It has to be my first seniors competition, my first senior championship.
When?
Now I was probably just a couple of years, about 3 years into my training by then. Yeah. And I was having dedicated training with the boys from the club and with Alex as well. So I was literally training 5 nights a week. Wow. I was fully into it, Yeah. And then when I entered, I flunked the first competition. I got battered something like 10-0. Didn't know what the hell I was doing in there. But the next competition, sailed through purely because I could felt my standard of fighting was changing, and by then I started fighting more, nationally wise.
And what was the time frame between your first and your second there, where you felt that
a year, because the competition. See, there's competition that goes on throughout the annual year, but I was only doing one. I was doing the national BCKA championships, and I wanted to get past that before I went on to the national stage.
Yeah, so there was a year between your first and your second.
And then after that, just start popping off, man. You know what I mean? And I looked at it's either individual or team events, whichever the case may be. But I'll say that easily the highlight of my. I mean, there's major magical moments in terms of gradings and stuff. In terms of out there performing in front of an audience, and a packed house. Was 96 we went to. 96 we went to Northern Ireland. No, Dublin. Yes. Went to Dublin for the World Championships, which has been hosted or was actually developed by a guy called Roy Baker. Roy Baker is one of the most predominant kickboxers in Ireland, on the island of Ireland. Yeah. And I had the honour to fight against the Irish national team.
No way.
I kid you not, man. That I was buzzing, absolutely buzzing. This guy who fought me, he was like almost a foot taller than me, but we were going at it.
No way.
It. Absolutely loved it.
Fan combos.
But it was close. But I also I got to see a lot of my heroes there as well. Like there's a guy called Alfie Williams who's he was one of the predominant kickboxers in Manchester. But he had a big following in the karate, K1 sort of styles, freestyle kickboxing. And he was there, he competed, and to watch him compete at that level, I thought, oh jeez, man,
it's like meeting your idol kind of thing. It's just
shock to the system, man.
Yeah.
Shock to the system.
So where would you have seen these guys and watched these guys? Was it on TV?
No, we went to the competitions.
You went to the competitions?
I travelled to Manchester
and now you're competing at the same competitions?
And competing with them as well, yeah. Wow. So I got to that point where I was actually competing.
Yeah, that's absolutely magical.
But unfortunately, my career took a bit of a nosedive in that sort of area, in terms of competition, because I had
that level.
That level, because I don't know what it was, but I rapidly lost my eyesight overnight.
Stop that.
In both eyes. It just woke up one morning, just grey cloud, couldn't see a thing.
Oh, really?
Got rushed into hospital. It was found to be an accelerated form of cataracts.
Wow.
Now, they said it would normally I have to wait like 2 years to get operated on. But by this time when I was working out of it, just past my 30s. Just before my firstborn was around. Yeah.
Jeez.
Crazy enough. But luckily, my then wife at the time, she worked for Irish Components, and I was still on the insurance policy. They offered to pay for the surgery privately. Nice. And they had the surgery. It was pioneering surgery at the time. So I've got like implants in the back of the corneas.
Stop that.
And restored my vision. But
so
I used to wear glasses all the time. I used to wear these big ass glasses.
Yeah, long bottles.
Yeah. I'm only wearing these now for long vision and stuff.
So how bad was it? And was it overnight? You literally woke up?
Literally woke up one morning and I couldn't see. It was just like a grey cloud, like walking through a mist, a thick fog.
Stop it.
It was scary as, So it took me 6 weeks between the hospital.
And ultimately, within that time frame, you didn't know there was a solution.
Well, no. What I was going to say is that once that actually happened, I had to make a decision about where does that leave me with my kung fu?
Where does it leave you alive?
Well, I knew that this changed my life anyway. In terms of first, it restored my eyesight and allowed me, of course, in that near moment thinking, well, don't take anything for granted. Yeah. And I found myself rethinking, well, is this the life I really want? I started having doubts. But these things, shit happens, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the good thing about it was, the bad news about it is that I had to retire from kickboxing.
Of course.
And then focus purely on weapons and coaching and teaching. Okay. So that's why I enjoy teaching kids and watching them grow and go through the skills, go through the gradings, go on and compete. I mean, it's really important. And if I had to, I'll be honest, because I speak about it so passionately, if we're still here, I would be still training to this day. Okay. I mean, I practice for myself. Yeah. But if the club was still
so when's Trey's school coming then?
That's it, I'm done now, dude. I tried that once before. Remember, I tried that once before, but when I came over, I tried to start up a school here, And it did garner some real good interest.
Yeah.
In fact, one of the guys that we know really well
Yeah.
has actually excelled into Taekwondo, Dean Pritchard.
Yeah.
And Dean Pritchard was one of my very first students. And
big shout out to Dean.
Love you, man. But he's absolutely smashing it in the Taekwondo field, man. And props to him. It's amazing his achievements.
I know.
But to say that I started when I joined.
Kudos to our Trey. But him, a wee birdie told me, you were in a band.
Yeah. Oh Jesus, yes, yes. Right. So quick skip onto the music bit now, then. Right? Okay. So what I have to do is draw a little bit back, because even though I did say about the first cultural impact was about the mod movement and scooters and that's the next big one for me was hip hop. When I moved to Bristol, my life completely changed in that respect, because I was reintroduced back into the black culture sort of thing, you know, and that sort of thing. And hip hop was a massive impact on my life then.
The 90s,
in the 80s, 1983.
Early 80s?
Early 80s, yeah.
So who are we talking there then?
So you're talking about Grandmaster Flash, Furious Five,
you're talking
day
one stuff.
Day one stuff, yes.
Wow.
Day one stuff.
Grandmaster Flash.
Yeah. Cool Herc, Grandmaster Flash, Furious Five, Cold Crush Brothers. You know, this is music I still listen to this very day.
Because it's timeless.
It's timeless.
It's art.
Yeah.
It's really art.
And the thing about it at the time then is that I know that people say, and I say this very, very, very quickly, it's a multicultural culture, right?
Yeah.
Because when I was growing up, it had every colour and diversity and ethnicity involved in it, right?
Yeah.
The crew I was with was called International Funk Force, because every single one of us was from a different background or different ethnicity. So just want to shout out to that though. It's global, it's universal, and I love. I mean, the time when it came out, we were being told it's never going to succeed. But here we are, 40 years later.
Yeah,
still rocking it.
So what was your band? What was your role in the band?
So with the hip hop scene, I followed all the elements. Yeah, when I say elements, the main parts of it. So that's the breakdancing I did for a little while, the body popping I did for a while, the graffiti I did for a while. The
beatboxing, or was that part of it? Beatboxing, or
no? Well, it's an element, but it's not one of the 5 elements. It's an element of, but DJing was I took that up as well, and MCing.
Got you.
And when I went through all those stages, and then the music stage came up in the mid 90s, right? When an old school friend of mine, Derek G, recording now, right?
Yeah, of course.
He and I and my brother, Roger, we set up a band. We started diddling around with music in his studio, his little bedroom studio thing, and we called ourselves 3 Minute Heroes.
3 Minute Heroes.
3 Minute Heroes, and we started doing a few little. I mean, we were gigging with different things before that, but that was a big one for me, because we done a gig in the cattle market in Kettering, Northamptonshire, which is about 8 miles away from Corby, my hometown and stuff. And we blew out the Watermen. There were live bands with live guitars and stuff. We just had 2 turntables and a keyboard and a sampler, and didn't want to go off there. So our style was very, very Public Enemy sort of. Yeah. Public Enemy stroke NWA stroke orientated sort of thing,
aggressive,
very political sort of thing. Movement. But this is what the thing I loved about it, right? Is that we weren't just your regular hip hop band. We were a blend, we were a crossover, a hybrid. We messed around with punk music, we messed around with jazz, we did a lot of work with an indie band called Bullets and Blue Eyes, and went on tour with them.
No way.
Went on tour around the country with them as well.
Were you a vocalist, or did you do?
I did the MCing. Yeah, I was rapping. I was doing rapping and stuff. My brother was a DJ. Derek was the guy on the keyboards and the sampler, and I was in front on the mic.
And was your brother putting his own beats together? Or
literally back to back. He was Roger, right? The thing I did piss me off about my brother Dodge is that in his prime at the time, he was one of the best DJs to do it in that era.
Wow.
Right, because he and I had done a set before the band. We were the crew called Phase 2, bunch of breakdancers, and we were managed by this beautiful person called Susan Nathan. She ended up managing us as a bunch of kids, just trying to dibble with this culture. They gave us the pathway to meddle with it, and we done an outside gig at Westgate Park. Open air festival, all these different punk bands and shit, live bands come and do stuff. And then comes a bunch of these wee kids, with street gear on, 2 turntables, 2 MCs, you know, one beatboxer and.
And were you
Do you know how many
freestyling?
people were in front of? Yeah, freestyle. But you know how many people? A lot of it was like we coordinated the set, choreographed the set.
Yeah.
But some of it was freestyling. Over 3,000 people in the in the whole open air, and we just blew out the water. They wouldn't get us to stay, but that was it for us then. Right, so we moved on to the music. We started producing mixtapes. We started working with other bands and helping them. All the stuff, you know, I was writing lyrics for other groups as well. We started to record our own sets.
Yeah, you're writing your own stuff now.
Yeah, we done a gig in Corby, and no, it wasn't in Corby. It was in Manchester at Manchester University, and Warner Brothers Music Scouts were there to come check us out. We got offered a contract.
No way!
Kid you not. We got offered a recording contract there and then, and Derek and I looked at each other and thought, you know, okay, this. At this point now, what do we do? Because we were just doing this for the fun. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just to get out there, just to be exposure, you know, and it's just me just putting us on the map again, you know, in terms of Corby. And I thought, we bottled it. We said, no, I'm not doing it. Because, you know what it was? It was a fear of the unknown. We knew that getting offered 150k to at the time,
yes,
and I thought to myself, I don't really fancy being buying for a 10 fucking 30.
Or damn.
You know? So and at that point we decided that was it. You know, so we were together for about 3 years, and we decided at that point, call it a day.
Call it a day. So it's either get signed or call it a day.
Yeah.
You had your fun.
We had fun, but I enjoyed every minute of it.
Yeah.
It's dabbling, isn't it? It's just dabbling. We dabbled enough to be able to make a name. So people would say, "Oh, could you come and do a gig here? And could you come and do that there?"
And it's, whenever you got signed, they would have started caging you, and with the creativity
compartmentalising you and taking your ideas and stuff.
And then obviously what we know now from the record labels, they would have,
Yeah, and I'll be honest. I'm glad I didn't do it. I mean, as much fun as I had, even being in the recording studio.
Well, sure. Look at
it's good fun.
The kid Liam Page, is it One Direction?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like this dream, and then like, there's more. What would you call it? What's the opposite of success stories? There's more. Tragedy stories and success stories in the
music industry, in the entertainment industry. I think there's a lot more tragedies than you find in
success stories. You know,
I think Gavin, be truthful, man. If I was doing the music industry or the entertainment industry, then my fucking track record, flipping out. And you thought P Diddy was bad, right?
You would be the original
Trey Diddy, you know what I mean? No, it wasn't as bad as that. But you know, it's just not worth it. I know there's this crave for fame and stuff in certain spheres, you know, in terms of attention and stuff. But you know, if you've got baggage and you're trying to create a career in that stuff, you need to be prepared that might be done with the debt. You know, so you got to be aware of how much your history may come back and bite you in the arse. Sort of
they
thing,
say your sins will find you.
Oh, absolutely.
Your sins will find you. That's why I'm always, because I'll be out and about working and all. People say, "Do you have business cards?" And I'll be like, "No, just everything's social media now." It's like, "Oh, I don't have that."
Yeah. And
in the back of my brain, I'm always thinking, "Why? Why? Gonna come on my show?" But yeah, even just having a wee Facebook and stuff it scares the shit out of people.
Yeah.
It does.
And then if you the thing about Facebook, when Facebook first came out, it was just a way to connect with all your friends and stuff. You post little pictures and stuff. And then another layer was added on with about the entertainment side and stuff.
Of course.
And we now become so flipping compartmentalized. I can't really struggle with that word, man. Jesus, right?
It's the beer, man.
It's that flipping strong stuff, man. We're literally just being rage baited, you know what I mean? Selective outrage and stuff, and that drives me at the fucking wall. Whereas now, I only use social media to connect with people who I know. I'm not looking to go and connect with my immediate friends. You know, exactly. Use it for a purpose.
That's why I'm addicted to it.
Yeah. But I'll be honest, I do use TikTok though, I'll be honest, right? Because
your TikTok's going to blow up tonight.
but I use TikTok but only again, very selective filters, because again, you know, you go into that and you know the story behind it with this current environment and stuff, but there is people out there who are not interested in trying to be something that they're not. They just want to be in a space where they can be themselves, show you that they're going on a little bit of a walk, talk about your day, what you're cooking, what you're eating and stuff. Rather than my political view is this and try and force feed you like bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
It's another space.
Yeah.
But how I kind of break it down is there's good people and there's bad people. Doesn't matter if it's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or the local fucking paper.
I should actually say, before you continue on, hashtag Eurotalk, hashtag Commonwealth Talk, hashtag Euro TikTokers, and hashtag World TikTok. Anything other than that, I am not interested. This is where I can get these people who are just breathing a bit of fresh air, just want to be human, just be normal, be natural, be authentic, like yourself. You know what I mean? Not put on some bravado, some sort of act or some sort of gimmick. Just be.
But we have to be in the space. Yeah. Because it's getting lost. Normal, decent, everyday behaviours.
It's being lost.
We're the fucking minority now.
Absolutely.
And I do not want to go off on a tangent.
It's sensationalism.
Where's the common sense anymore? Where's the... See the fucking... no, I'm not even...
Well, you can if you want to, because I'm with you on that one. But, you're absolutely right. I think
it's insane.
You've got to take a step back.
You've got to take a step back, because the fucking... who is making these decisions? The school curriculum, policies being passed in schools. You know, I've got kids in school, and it's like, what? Stop it.
Yeah.
So that I like this wee show to be wholesome, and I try and keep it. You know, I just love that. Wholesome vibe.
Keep it on the steer, man. Keep it on the steer.
We'll keep it on the steer. Because the world needs a lot more fucking wholesomeness.
But you know. There's a desire for it. That's the thing I like about it, right? Yeah. And that's anything, certainly over the last week or so. Yeah. And I said, I'm not going to talk too much about TikTok and per se as go and get the app. I'm just saying from my personal experience, just changing a few things has brought me into an audience that it just reminded me that the world is bigger than this fucking little vacuum that we put ourselves into. Yeah. You know, you don't have to take in a political view of some sort. You know, if you're affiliated that way, crack on, right? If you think that's how you're going to live your life, crack on. I am more concerned with my immediate health, my wife's health, my family's health, my friends' health, my boys, my girls. You know, the people who I engage with. And being true to myself.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I'm not here trying to put on an act or anything. I'm just saying, same way you invited me to be here to talk about...
Real, because you're real as fuck. And the world needs more real as fuck people. Genuine real people. You're an absolute legend. That's what I want to push that. Yeah. You know, where's the wholesomeness anymore? Where's the genuineness anymore in the world? There's just so many fucking narratives being forced down our throats. Yeah. And people just want to have a quality life.
You know what? If we can go back to how we were when we go back to. I'm not to say that I don't know what kids are doing these days. I'm not.
There was the 20s or 50s. I mean, $5,000 fucking gaming PCs and haven't seen daylight.
Back in the day when we used to go out clubbing and stuff, you know what I mean? All you cared about was going out there, getting pissed, having a great time, doing your dressing well, or you dressed to the nines, no jeans, suits, ties, with shoes and shit. You know, you had your music. The music was you danced literally from start to finish. You come at the nightclub at 2 o'clock. The kebab van's right there, right? You grab your kebab and you jump in your taxi and you get home and it costs you less than what I could do it for fucking 20 quid. You know what I'm saying, right? So, but
it's you touched on a good point there. What are the kids doing nowadays?
That's a really good question. They're not engaging the way they used to.
Modern day music, shite.
I hate it.
Pure shite. I mean, shite. Maybe a catchy chorus or a catchy hook or a catchy verse for then you listen to it 3 times, then it's just shite. Yeah. The music, you know, should be timeless. You should be able to listen to it 20 years time and still resonate.
The biggest reason why is that everybody can create their own music. to a point that we've actually lost the art of what creating.
Yeah.
The art of creating, that exclusivity of creativity has been lost.
Yeah.
Because everybody can go out there, everybody can go and be that. Everybody wants to be the DJ, right?
Of course.
So you can set it up and do that. You can literally just go and buy the stuff and.
But it's across the board now.
Yeah.
It's like nobody can fucking cook. Because you just go and buy a convenience meal.
Yeah.
There was a girl on the wee podcast
Absolutely.
Before there, and her nanny taught her how to knit and crochet and all these
skills, man. Yeah.
You go and buy a fucking jumper for £2.
Yeah.
Why would you learn to crochet and knit and do all this stuff? Music, you just download some free software and put a drum beat in, and it's like, it's almost like.
It's lazy.
It's laziness. It's all been taken away from us.
Yeah. The lost. I mean, if I listen to, like, for example, you said about music's crap. I think a lot of the hip hop stuff, rap music producers now is absolute garbage.
It is.
And I say it respectfully because I'm just listening to them. I'm thinking, though the pioneers I listen to, like Public Enemy, Eric B. and Rakim, Nas is my absolute hero. You know what I mean? There's still some guys I still listen to like Freddie Gibbs and Jermaine and the likes, but those are the real artists. And you've got all these guys coming up with
I know.
But
they've genred it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's how like say like an album. Say Nas put the song out. Yeah, I know. But he maybe had to sit there for years to craft that.
Yeah.
And then you get someone turn up and what's the genre called? And it's not even they just go and put a beat over it. And it's like you just want fame straight away for having absolutely no quality or credibility. And you just that's the biggest load of shite I've ever fucking.
The most of the time I've actually spent when it comes to music, I mean I've not bought anything really that recent since past 2018, because I thought I'd just given up by this time. I actually found myself just more focused on my back catalogue, recreating my back catalogue for the music and the vinyls I used to have from back in the day, just downloading them. So we talk about any of those genres into that sort of midsection. I mean, my music taste is seriously eclectic.
Although, do you know who I like currently? Teddy Swims.
Yes.
He's an artist.
There's some good ones like that.
Yeah,
I'm not saying every single artist is shit.
But that's it.
Anderson .Paak is one of my all-time favourites. Who's done with Bruno Mars and stuff. So sorry.
But
you know
the
what I mean?
bigger picture,
the
modern
bigger
music
picture is shit.
There's no artists anymore. Everybody nobody wants to do for one like Elton John.
Yeah.
Drive up and down the country for 20 years doing every single bingo hall in the fucking country twice.
Every month there's a new fucking genre.
Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah.
There isn't new
Techno
genres.
house, this is house, something house, lazy house, or something.
My ma's
house, your ma's house, road house.
Stop it. There's nobody that's prepared. I always say now, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Everybody just wants it all tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it's as I say, it's cooking, it's fashion, it's music.
Yeah.
Fucking stop it. Stop it. We need some.
The best way to do that, right? Because unfortunately, it's like I said to you before, we're not hearing anything that the other generation didn't say. I'm not hearing anything that my mum didn't say about music, about what I'm into, that sort of thing now. But I think my mum was our biggest advocate of what we want to do. She supported us throughout.
Nice.
To a point where she allowed me to spray paint my own bedroom. That's how cool my mum was, right?
That's awesome.
So what you got to think of is stick to what you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because this is outside of your sphere. What's happening right now? This is not your things.
No.
I mean, I pissed myself laughing. I say this respectfully. When she see me walking down the street with sliders and white socks on, I'm thinking, what the fuck are you doing? Right? I would never be seen, and Crocs. Do you remember when Crocs came around the first time? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and so was
and now they're a fashion trend.
But that's each to their own, right?
Yeah.
Respect each to their own, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I stay in my lane.
I know.
I think that's what you got to do. You know what I mean? Don't torture yourself by saying, "Oh, I can't be dealing with that." Stay out of it.
Yeah. Because people jump from lane to lane to lane.
Absolutely.
But I always say, don't judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree.
Find as you find, man.
Yeah, if you're a fish, be a fish, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you can climb trees, you climb that tree.
Yeah.
And always need to take a step back and don't judge fishes by its ability.
Don't be afraid of your limitations.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to fail.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to fuck up. As long as you learn from it.
Absolutely. So the final part of the conversation.
Oh my god, here we go.
What does the future hold for Trey?
Me? Jesus, man. Oh, I'll tell you what, right, I thoroughly enjoyed today.
Yeah?
Really, man, you're an absolute star. Absolutely enjoyed it, man. Thank you. I knew it was going to be good. Jeez, I didn't think it would be this much fun.
Well, thank you.
Just sit and talking with you like this.
Real talk, mate. It's
Love it. So,
genuine people.
I'd love to come back. If you run out of audiences and you've spoken to enough entrepreneurs and you want a bit of down to the essence.
I want to be grounded.
Now, my immediate priorities right now is to enjoy this latter part of my life.
Yeah.
I know I'm led into a latter part of my life. I've been very fortunate to have some of the best friends in the world who are still my close friends now. Either friends I've grew up with or girls I've had relationships with, still best friends to this very day. We've learned from that and taken away from it. I'm not saying every single one of them is successful, but the vast majority of people I've met, I've remained close friends with. So I've got a good network here. But my priorities is my wife and my children, right? So Shah is my world,
everybody knows that.
Everybody knows that, So it's, I can't. There's nothing I can say there that you don't already know. It's just to enjoy being a grandparent as well, because my little man is like 2 years old and 11 years old, and to see them come through that and to be in that space. To watch my girls continue to grow and prosper into these amazing, beautiful, independent, strong women. Okay, I'm not saying one, except one's married, so I've got 3 more to get married yet, but we'll see where life takes them. But the life paths they've taken, I fully support them on. Do you know what I mean? It's not for me to decide, but I'll always have their back. I adore them, I love them, they're my children. And of course, the last bit, if it's on the professional level, I've always wanted to end my career in public service. Hands down, it's been a desire for me for 20 years. I've worked in the private sector for the best part of 40 plus years of my life. I want to finish off in public sector, so I've now got the honour to do the job I've always wanted to do, which is design analytics for public service in the civil service.
I love that.
And my team's scattered across the UK, so I've got a fantastic network of a team, very, very supportive, brilliant people, very diverse. Just enjoy it. And if anything else, mate, you know what I mean? Continue enjoying the scooter while I still can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just to enjoy, just to take a step back and enjoy the rest of my life and look back and,
So, here's my final question.
Okay.
What advice would you give to a younger Trey?
What advice would you give to a younger Trey?
Yeah.
You know something? I can honestly say, even though it's in life you have some regrets. Yeah. I don't have regrets. I think it's what the biggest things I regret more than anything else is if I've caused any hurt, or the hurt I've caused to another human being. Either my ex-wife or somebody who may have gone out with, or another person. If I've caused them some sort of pain, emotional, physical, that's the only thing I would actually look to try and avoid. But unfortunately, Gareth.
Daddy parties.
As much as there is good, you've got to endure the not so good. I don't want to say bad. I want to say the opportunity to learn. And not to be governed or not to be ruled by it. So don't let the mistake forge your path. And I'll say the one person that I'll say has actually taught me that lesson more than anything else. Guess I'm going to say her name.
Your mom?
No. My mum? Yeah, what? My mum was too busy partying, dude. She was wild as fuck. I was down at the nightclub with the girls and stuff. She was sitting with my sister. No, she's an absolute star. But I wouldn't be here without her. It's my wife. And I've learned so much from people who've encountered in my life. Girls who've encountered in my life. My last girlfriend who lived all the way down in Bristol, down in Brighton. Yes. So I used to work for Jordan Series, used to commute 50 miles and then do another 175 miles in the direction to go see her.
Yeah, I remember saying.
But she's taught me so much. But I've learned so much, taking something from each experience. Yeah. And all those has culminated into what you see right now, man.
I know. So
you've got to learn from it.
Yeah, you must have met some great people along the way.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I've been very blessed. But
yeah, that's great advice.
Yeah.
So if anybody can take anything away from the show, is to learn something from everybody that you meet. And I love that. And what a great note to finish on.
What a brilliant note. No, thank you for your time.
No.
It's been brilliant, isn't it?
I'm here all the time.
Yeah.
So thank you for your time. And
David,
everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care. Look after each other. And go have some fun.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend, yeah? Thanks for hanging with us.
There you go. Sorry.
Nice one.